The definition of insanity is attempting to do the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right? So that's the definition of insanity. Something like that. Paraphrasing poorly, but you get the idea. Um, so I say to myself that I will not do anything creative while I'm working to drive, to save money, to have money to go to Colorado with, right? Because I know that those two tasks are vastly different. What does that mean? Okay, so the difference is driving doesn't require any thought. Driving requires a map and unconscious competence is how it's labeled. So basically that just means that you don't need your conscious mind to do it. You know how when you're driving home from work or driving a route that is very familiar to you and you're like, oh my god, I blanked out, how did I even get home alive? That's unconscious competence. That is you not even being aware of what it is that you're doing, because it's usually something that is so routine. So you do it over and over and you can just do it. So you're like, oh my god, I zoned out, how am I not dead? Because you're not laser focused on driving home. You do it every day. The difference with art, for me, is that it requires a lot of, number one, sleep. And number two, it requires me to almost leave my body, not in an unconscious, competent way, but it's something that I do. I go deep into my mind to do it. But to come out of it is hard. Have you ever heard, and I'm not comparing myself to A-list actors, but most recently I saw a story where Leonardo DiCaprio, and a lot of A-list actors do it, you'll read that, oh, you're not allowed to look them in the eyes, or you're not allowed to talk to them while they're on set. I understand that, and I don't know that you do. You just think, oh, they're being a douchebag, they're too good, you better make millions of dollars, you better talk to somebody, buddy. No, I don't believe that that's what it is. I've never heard it explained, but I know how it feels to try to create art and then all of a sudden go and drive, or go ahead and do something else. I have to get my head to a certain place so that my focus is correct to do the art. Now, any external agitation or any external influence beyond where it is, what it is I've done to get my head right, which usually requires pacing, which usually requires chain smoking, which usually requires sleeping. Now, I listed all those things, and you're, oh, well, why don't you quit smoking? Listen, shut up. I'm not asking you to improve my creative process. I'm telling you what it is. So, right away, you jump in, oh no, oh my god, you're sleeping in the middle of the day? What do you mean? Oh, and you smoke it? Smoke is not good for you. No, I am telling you, these are the three things that it takes for me to be able to do something creative, period. End of point. So, if you're going to act and you're going to be a different person, you have to embody that person. So it takes a certain level of concentration and focus to achieve that mindset so that you become that person. So now, if you're playing a grumpy character and all of a sudden the assistant director walks by and you're like, hey, good morning, you're out of character, which changes your focus, which means that you may not be able to do your job that day. A multi-million-dollar production is waiting on you to have your head together, which is probably another reason why the A-list actors take so much time getting to set. Oh, this one was in their trailer, they're being a diva. Are they? Or are they taking the time that they need to get their head right to do something that you and I can't do? A lot of people tell me, how do you do that? When I paint. I believe anyone can paint. I've taught over 800 people at this point. I know it for a fact. The thing is that you, number one, have no interest in it. You're just, if you're, going to a paint party, you're just looking to paint. You know, it's something to do. You want to carry on with your friends. You want a night out. It sounds like something fun to do. Maybe you saw somebody else do it and you thought it looked really cool, so you want to do it. Whatever the reason is, there's a reason why you're there. Not to become an artist or a painter. You're just there to do it. But the thing is that it requires a certain mindset to be able to do things that aren't robotic, like driving home from work, like manning a cash register. I'm not minimizing those jobs. I am not saying that those jobs aren't important. We all got to pay bills. I believe we all have the ability to do something bigger than what we've settled for simply because we need a lot of money to live. I don't want to live a life in the pursuit of money. That is why I'm homeless right now. Because I have been struggling to find one thing that will allow me the ability to work a little bit of time to have money to pay my rent, the biggest bill that anybody faces. Usually, I don't know your situation. You know, you may have children, you may have a family of 19, I don't know. But I believe that the biggest bill that any of us pay is our monthly rent or mortgage. So I have been looking for one thing that allows me the ability to go and make that money and then have the rest of the month to be able to try other creative outlets. Now, silly me, I don't live for money. I don't live thinking, oh my God, I have to have millions and millions of dollars. Would it be nice? Sure. But you think that is the answer to everything. It's not. The more you have, the more you want. The more that if you're going to be somebody that has millions of dollars, like Oprah Winfrey, I see a meme go around. Oprah gives you the tips on how to be stress-free. And the first comment is, yeah, have $1 billion. Okay, but Oprah Winfrey was a black woman trying to become, a talk show personality in the 80s. That wasn't, there was no precedence for that. That wasn't something that she was supposed to be allowed to do. Yet she did it. And she built an empire. She has a magazine. She's working with Weight Watchers right now. She has all of these different little pokers in the fire, right? But it started with her talk show. Well, she started as a newscaster first, but then eventually got to her talk show. So she has $1 billion, but she worked for that $1 billion. It's not like somebody said, hey, here, Oprah, here's $1 billion. And she's sitting there telling you, oh, I know how to be stress-free. Just because you have money doesn't mean you don't have stress. I refuse to believe that. I see plenty of people ordering $30 Uber meals that are stressed the fuck out. You can't think that money is the answer to happiness. Happiness is the answer to happiness. A dear friend once told me, happiness is not a destination, it's a mode of travel. That is the way you have to approach your day. Yeah, there's going to be things that are going to piss you off, but if your knee-jerk reaction to everything is explosion, is oh, of course, if everybody that you interact with or everything that you do is frustrating you, there's a problem, and you need to fix that. I have gone through what I've went through to fix that for myself. I believe I have found the thing that I need to be able to do the things that I want to do going forward, and that's rideshare. I'm doing Lyft and Uber, and I have found that if I hustle, I can make $800 to $1,000 in 1 week. Now, granted, that's before taxes and expenses, so that really winds up being about $600. But if I do that for 2 weeks, I now have my rent paid and my taxes set aside. I can make $800 and $800 and save $400 for taxes and live off of that $600 and $600, $1,200. But what I can't do is go to a job every day and work with the coworker. Work with that one fucking idiot that we all hate. That person that has been there for 175 years and they built the building around and they won't help do anything and they have a complaint for everything or they are above anything. We all have that one person. What's beautiful about rideshare is that if somebody like that gets in this car for 45 minutes to an hour to 2 hours, 2 hours later, I never have to see them again. That's it. That's the end of that miserable experience. So I am walking around every day feeling free. I am not stressed out to the idea of, oh God, I have to deal with this again. The only person I have to deal with every day is me. And that's a lot. And I'm quite exhausting and we fight a lot. But it's still something that I can control. I can control myself. I can't control anybody else. And if it's something external that's bothering you, change it. You need to change it. It's up to you. Nobody is going to come. Yes, you will have people that will help you along your way, but nobody's going to figure this out for you. Nobody's going to draw you a roadmap, and nobody is going to do it for you. If you are unhappy with your life, you have to change your life. It's up to you.